9 justices appointed for life, so their influence lasts long after a White House term ends.
Whoever controls the majority on the Supreme Court after this next presidency could control it for 15 or 20 years before a consequential seat starts to flip. And so that means we're talking about potentially 2 decades of what is possible in this country being decided by one vote in November of 2016.
And presidential candidates are talking about that potential power and influence.
There are few, if any, issues that matter more in this presidential election than the Supreme Court. And what I can tell you is I have spent my entire life fighting judicial activism, and there is no decision I will take more seriously than appointing a Supreme Court justice.
The next president's timing could be especially significant.
We need to recognize something that has received almost no attention in this election, which is that in all probability, the next president of the United States will make between 1 and 3 appointments to the United States Supreme Court.
Former President Bill Clinton appointed 2 justices, both during his first term. 2 decades later, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has risen to become this court's most powerful liberal voice. Ginsburg is now over 80, and some of her colleagues are not far from that milestone.
Justices Kennedy and Scalia are 78 or 79, and Justice Breyer is 77. Several of the other justices are in their mid to late 60s.
But George Washington Law School Associate Dean Alan Morrison says the 2016 election could give justices added incentive to stay on the bench.
I can't imagine, for example, Justice Scalia retiring if a Democrat is elected. On the other hand, if Justice Ginsburg can hang on, I'm sure she will, because I don't think she'd want Donald Trump or Ted Cruz to appoint a successor.
The Roberts Court has made controversial decisions with wide-ranging effects, from upholding President Obama's signature health care law to striking down limits on federal campaign donations. Republican presidential candidates are promising to nominate conservative justices with an eye to issues like gun control and abortion. And Democrats sense an opportunity too.
So they're going to want the Voting Rights Act back. They're going to want to get rid of Citizens United so we don't have all this money coming in.
Ian Millhiser with the Center for American Progress says one very real danger, a divided Senate unwilling to confirm the new president's choice for the bench.
So you're looking at the possibility that if a vacancy opens up, the seat could just sit open indefinitely until you have a unity between the party that controls the White House and the party that controls the Senate.
A reminder that the 2016 election is about more than who wins the presidency. It's also about which party wins seats in the Senate. Libby Casey, Al Jazeera, Washington.